One of the best events of the year, the Halloween event part 1 is starting in Pokemon Go. Today we're running through some tips and tricks for this event. Let's get right into it. So this event is going to be October 20th, 10 a.m. to October 27th, 8 p.m. Again, it's part 1 of a 2-part event. We'll have a separate tips video for part 2. Bonus to your event will be 2 times catch candy, 2 times hatch candy, 2 times transfer candy, and a guaranteed XL candy when walking your buddy if you're above level 31. Note that stacks with the XL candy you'll already get, so you can get up to 2 XL candies from walking one buddy the candy threshold. There will be some decor on the map with some Halloween focused colors, and pretty much just the map is gonna look different. Here's some concept art of that, and it'll probably look similar-ish to this, maybe a little less extreme. There'll be Lavender Town music going down in game. Wild spawns during the event will have Zubat, Ghastly, Haunter, Spinarak, Murkrow, Misdreavus, Sableye, Shuppet, Dusclops, Absol, Drifloon, Yamask, Golett, Phantom, and Pumpkaboo, so a lot of spawns. We'll have exclusive 7-kilometer eggs during the event, hatching Yamask, Galarian Yamask, Golett, Phantom, and Noibat. Yes, Galarian Yamask and Noibat are going to be the 2 new shiny releases during this event. And note, Noibat hatched from eggs has a higher shiny rate. I guess is going to be 1 in 64. Funny thing is, Noibat is only available in eggs, so it doesn't really make a difference. One story during the event will be Sableye, Purrloin, Yamask, Galarian Yamask, and Phantom. 3 stars will be Gengar, Umbreon, Drifloon, and Drapion. 5 stars will be Giratina Altered with its new legacy move Shadow Force, which we will talk about if that's any good in a bit. And Mega Rays will be the new Mega Banette. There's a new spooky pose and, mummy outfit you can get in the shop as well as some other avatar items you can see on screen. We also have some exclusive research during the event, starting with the field research tasks. The tasks include catch 5 ghost types for a Shuppet or a Duskull encounter, catch 10 ghost types for a Yamask encounter, catch 25 ghost types for a Galarian Yamask encounter, send 5 gifts, add a sticker to each for a Phantom encounter, spin 5 Pokestops for 20 Mega Gengar energy, and spin 10 Pokestops for 20 Mega Absol energy. Honestly, not bad tasks. There will also be a special research available to everybody called a Mysterious Mask. The tasks are on screen as you can see, really nothing too complicated here other than using a bunch of berries, a bunch of different things, and you do get a bunch of Yamask encounters and candy and all that stuff. It's a great special research, makes you complete it during this event because ghost types won't be common after. Additionally, you can spend money on extra research. There is a Yamask timed research that costs $1 in the shop. The tasks are on screen, but you can pay $1 for this and pretty much just complete it and get a bunch of Yamasks and Galarian Yamask encounter checks, which is great if you want the shiny. Note, this is a timed research, so it will expire after the event, so make sure you complete it during the event. There is a second one called the Halloween timed research that costs $5. Now, we don't have the full list of tasks for this research yet, as it is still being completed, so I'm just gonna link below this website if you wanna come check it out later, see when it's updated, but the tasks are on screen and it'll probably be worth $5 worth of things. However, remember, this is also a timed research, so complete it during the event or else it will disappear forever and you'll pretty much just lose your money. If you were to ask me if these are worth it or not, honestly, it really depends on if you want those Yamask checks and if you want those items you're gonna be getting from the research. If you're a free-to-play player or someone who barely spends a lot of money, I probably wouldn't be investing in these researches and better off spending money on item bag storage and Pokemon storage space. Finally, we do have some new boxes during the event on screen. You can check them out. Really bad boxes, honestly. If you compare these boxes to last year's Halloween boxes, you'll see a huge difference. But obviously, if you are planning on hatching 7-kilometer eggs, these are some of the only ways to get incubators. Whew, so that is the details. Let's get right into the tips, starting with, of course, the best wild spawns to go after. Starting with Zubat, which evolves into Golbat. Golbat's going to be a great League Pokemon and even good in the Halloween Cup, as well as evolving all the way up into Crobat. Crobat is going to be good in the Ultra League. We have Ghastly, which evolves all the way up into Gengar. Gengar, of course, does have the Mega Form and is also a good Ultra League Pokemon and a good Ghost type rate attacker, as well as Ghastly into Haunter, which is not a bad Great League Pokemon. Very spammy. Ghastly can also be a Ditto, so if you're looking for a Ditto, hunt those Ghastlys. Haunter as well itself is spawning in the wild, which again evolves into all those Gengars and also gets you 300 stars every time you catch it, so great to grind Stardust by catching that Pokemon. We have Spinarak, which evolves into Ariados, which is a good Great League Limited Cup Pokemon, as well as another Ditto disguise, so if you're looking for Ditto, catch those Spinaraks. Murkrow, which evolves into Honchkrow, which is not a bad Dark and Flying type raid attacker. We have Sableye, my favorite Pokemon. Sableye does have a Mega Form in the future, as well as a Purified Sableye is a Great League Pokemon, so great to grind XL candies through those wild Sableyes. We have Shuppet, which evolves into Banette. Of course, Mega Banette is going to be released, so great opportunity to get a good IV one in the wild. We have Dusclops, which Dusclops itself is not a bad Great League Pokemon and also gets you 300 Stardust every time you catch it. We have Absol in the wild, which of course Mega Absol is in the game right now. Good if you need a good IV one. I I do. Drifloon, which evolves into Drifblim, a Great League and Ultra League Pokemon, especially for those limited cups like the Halloween Cup, which is going to be active. Yamask, which evolves into Kofagrigus, great for the Great League and the Ultra League, that Pokemon. We have Phantom evolving into Trevenant, and Trevenant is one of the best Great League and Ultra League Pokemon. Pokemon only comes around during the Halloween, so make sure you get a good Trevenant for PvP. And finally, we have Pumpkaboo, which evolves into Gourgeist, not a bad Great League Pokemon, like a worse version of Trevenant. So a lot of good wild spawns going down during this event. Almost every Pokemon is meta relevant, which is nice to see. Let's also take a moment to talk about the raid. In the 1-stars, we're gonna have Sableye, which we already talked about its meta relevance. We also gonna have Yamask and Phantom, which we talked about them. But we also have Galarian Yamask. Now, Galarian Yamask evolves into Runerigus, and that is going to be a great League and Ultra League Pokemon with this recent move update. So great to get those, and it's also a new shine. In the 3-stars, we have Gengar itself, which we already talked about, as well as Drifloon, which we already talked about, but new in there, Umbreon, which is a great League and Ultra League Pokemon. You can get a great IV one in 3-star raids, as well as Drapion, which Drapion is not a bad Great League Pokemon as a safe switch. In the 5-stars, we have Giratina altered form with this new legacy move, Shadow Force. People are wondering, is this Pokemon any good with this move? Now, unfortunately, Shadow Force has not the most amazing move. Does 120 damage in PvP, 140 damage in raids, but it takes 90 energy in PvP, which is like one of the highest amounts of energy cost moves you can get. However, it is still a great move to have on Giratina for PvP because it allows Giratina to have a hard-hitting charge move that it didn't have before. Getting Giratina altered with Shadow Claw, Dragon Claw, and Shadow Force gives it more coverage against some of those neutral matchups in which Ghost is the only thing it can really hit us with. It also helps Giratina altered in gyms and raids. Giratina gets a boost up the Ghost type counter list with Shadow Force, making it better than it was before. However, I would not still use it as a Ghost type raid attacker because Giratina Origin Form, when that drops with Shadow Force, will be better. And also, most Pokemon like Chandelure and Giratina Origin Form are already better than this Pokemon. So it's really not going to be good for raids, but it will definitely be essential for PvP to have Shadow Force on your Giratina. We also have Mega Banette dropping. Now, is this Mega going to be any good? Let's take a look at it right now. Mega Banette is a pure Ghost type Pokemon, has a base attack of 312, defense of 160, and stamina of 162. So a very, very glass cannon Pokemon. As far as PvP goes, Mega Banette unfortunately cannot be used. If the Mega Master League does come back, which would be the only meta it could play in, I think it could have some decent play, but it is still very squishy Mega, and I think Mega Gengar would be a better choice probably 9 times out of 10. However, in raids, this thing is just very strong. Gonna be the number 2 overall Ghost type raid attacker of all time behind Mega Gengar. It's always gonna be in the shadow of Mega Gengar. And number 2 in DPS. All in all, a very good Ghost type raid attacker. It does have one advantage over Mega Gengar in which it's not a part poison, which means it only takes neutral damage to psychic attacks and will be able to stay on the battlefield a lot longer. So although it doesn't do as much damage to Mega Gengar, it does have some perks. Moving on to some candy tips, how to get a lot of candies this event, and it is Halloween, so candy is gonna be flying everywhere. Number 1, pineapple berries. A regular pineapple berry will double your catch candy, and a silver will 2.344 times your catch candy. On top of that, add the 2 times the catch candy we're already getting, you can fly through a bunch of candy for a lot of these meta relevant Pokemon. On top of that, Mega Evolving is gonna be essential during this event. Specifically, you're gonna wanna Mega Evolve the Pokemon Gengar. There are so many Ghost type Pokemon in the wild during this event that if you're not Mega Evolving a Gengar, you're missing out. Specifically Gengar as well, because that allows you to even hit Pokemon like Spinarak and Zubat, which are poison types. Conversely, if you do not have a Mega Gengar, the new Mega Banette could suffice, but you'll be getting less XL candies because remember, depending on the Mega level will change how many candies and XL candy bonuses you get for catching those certain types of Pokemon. And since Mega Banette is new, no one's gonna have it max level. Of course, you can also trade during and after the event. If you don't know, when you trade a Pokemon away, if the distance between the 2 Pokemon being traded is over 100 kilometers, you'll get 3 regular candies and 1 guaranteed XL candy if you're above level 31. Taking a lot of these meta relevant Pokemon and trading them to get extra XL candies is gonna be essential. I'm gonna be doing that with Sableye like crazy. Even if you don't have Pokemon that are caught over 100 kilometers away, it is still worth trading because there is a small chance you do get an XL candy when trading with a Pokemon, even if it's below 100 kilometers. Finally, there's 2 times transfer candy going down during the event. So once you're done trading, or if you don't plan on trading, you want to get rid of Pokemon, get rid of them during the event because you're getting 2 times the transfer candy. That brings us into the 7-kilometer eggs. Let's quickly talk about them. They're going to be hatching Yamask, Galarian Yamask, Golett, Phantom, and Noibat with a shiny boost. Now we are getting 2 times hatch candy, which means you're going to be getting more candy for all these Pokemon mentioned. But are any of these really that relevant with their hatch IVs? Yamask, Galarian Yamask, and Phantom, all good PvP Pokemon, but you want PvP IVs on these Pokemon for them to be the best of the best. If you want to know why, I will link a video below. Other than that, we have Noibat and Golett, which are both non-meta relevant Pokemon. And although Noibat is a new shiny, it doesn't really have any relevance in the meta. So unless you are a shiny hunter and want to go for these 2 new shinies, Galarian Yamask and Noibat, I would honestly, just use a free incubator on these new 7-kilometer eggs, but don't spend too much money because there has been eggs. Because comparing to some past egg pools, this one is not amazing. And that brings us to some platinum medal tips. You need 35 platinum medals to go from level 48 to 49 in Pokemon Go. Let's run through the best platinum medals to grind grind during this event. Of course, the dark type medal, the delinquent medal, catch 2,500 dark types, as well as the hex maniac medal, catch 2,500 ghost types. This is the event to work on these medals. Platinum these. Remember, if you actually do platinum these, it makes it easier to catch ghost types and dark type Pokemon. We also have the scientist medal, evolve 2,000 Pokemon. You might be like, Pokédaxi, why would I complete that medal during this event? Well, we have a bunch of trade evolved Pokemon spawning in the wild during this event. That includes Haunter, Phantom, and Pumpkaboo. All these Pokemon, if you actually receive them from a trade, it's going to be completely free to evolve them all the way up into their final forms. This makes a great strategy to get these Pokemon with a friend, trade them, then take a bunch of these free evolved Pokemon, and then you can just spam their evolutions for virtually 0 candies, working on this medal for 0 candies. You could also even potentially wait till Shuppet's Spotlight Hour, which is going to be the Tuesday, the 25th, in which there's 2 times Evolve XP. Throw in a Lucky Egg, that's 4,000 XP every time you evolve one of these Pokemon. So not only you work on your Scientist medal, but you're also grinding XP. We then have the Successor medal, Mega Evolve a Pokemon 1,000 times. There is going to be Field Research tasks to get both Mega Gengar and Mega Absol Energy, so great to grind that Mega Energy for those Pokemon, and then just spam their evolutions back and forth to work on your Successor medal. And finally, the Rising Star medal, defeat 150 species of Pokemon in raids. Take a look at the raid roster we have during this event. If there are any of these Pokemon you haven't raided at least once, use a free pass or use a pass on them to raid them at least once to get a point towards your Rising Star medal. And this leads us to my final tip, which is going to be linking you guys to another video. We do have guaranteed XL candies when walking buddies during this event. So I will link you guys up here to a video that I made about last year's Halloween event when we had the same bonus about the best Pokemon to walk as your buddies for this event. That video is still very relevant. All those Pokemon that I mentioned in that video are still very relevant to walk for XL candies. So go check out that video if you have the time. Other than that though, that is pretty much the video. If I missed any tips, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. I'm super excited for this event. I hope you guys are excited for this event. I'm going to be raiding Giratina like crazy, catching so many Sableye, just having an overall blast. Halloween is always fun. And stay tuned for the part 2 tips video for when that is coming, which is when this event ends, that event starts. So I'll make a video about that. Okay guys, have a major day. Follow up and tips. Peace.